Are these terror attacks changing attitudes to immigration in Germany? Do people feel less safe? And what, if anything, should be done? Well, Annette Grout is an MP with the left-wing Die Linke party in Germany. Good morning to you.
Yes, good morning, Claire.
And Julie Lenarz is an executive director of the Human Security Centre. It's an international, independent, non-for-profit foreign policy think tank. Morning to you, Julie.
Good morning.
Julie, what do you think should change? Should anything change with a view to how the German Parliament, the German authorities handle immigration?
Well, I think I'd say three things, really. I mean, first of all, we have to understand that Germany is just getting used to being under attack by the global Islamist insurgency. I mean, there are other countries like the UK, France, the US have been dealing with for many years. So clearly there are things that Germany can learn from other countries. If you look for CCTV cameras, for instance, there are a lot more CCTV cameras in the UK than there are in Germany, and they've proven to be very helpful in the past. So that's something Germany could be looking at. And then secondly, Germany has to look at both homegrown terrorism as well as people coming inside the country that are already radicalized. So, you know, they can, for instance, look at how people are getting into the country. Is there due process? Are they being registered? And that has been a huge problem over the last year. Clearly, the authorities have been overwhelmed by the refugee crisis, and that is a huge problem now because people enter the country illegally, they've disappeared with false papers, and it's very difficult to get rid of them if they commit a crime. So that's something they can do. Then, of course, they can look at what's being preached in mosques across the country. You know, there was a report by the intelligence services recently saying in North Rhine-Westphalia alone there are 55 mosques preaching Salafism. So that's a huge problem if you look at homegrown terrorism, how people become radicalized inside the country. And then, of course, thirdly, we also have to look at already existing security measures. Because, you know, there wasn't a lack of information with this particular individual. He committed a crime in Italy. He was on the radar of German authorities. He was on a no-fly list of the US, and still he was able to commit that crime. And I think these are all issues we have to look at very much over the next few days.
Okay, so all of that, Annette Grout, seems eminently achievable and practical. Do you have any concerns with what you just heard?
Concerning checking immigration, maybe. I mean, there is a lot of legislation in all the countries going on. There is a lack, certainly, of cooperation among European immigration authorities. I've been frequently in Greece, and I've seen it. But what is certainly right, and this is a big issue, and this, I guess, has been neglected. These are the strong influence by Salafist mosques or imams. Okay, if what I have heard, 55 only in North Rhine-Westphalia, I don't know what is the basis for this number, but it seems to me very high. Nevertheless, I know that there are Salafist mosques in Berlin and elsewhere, and they should be scrutinized. And sometimes, if there is really hate preaching and so on, they need to be closed down. And then we have to look more carefully, but also in the UK, in all the European countries, at the role of Saudi Arabia. These Saudi Arabia and Qatar, they support this Salafist movement, mosques, think tanks, giving scholarships to people. And very, very seldom I hear any criticism or questioning the role of Saudi Arabia in this global Salafist movement.
Okay, so that's an area you both agree on. Julie,
Yeah.
what problems do you have when the argument is focused on immigrants, on migrants, on asylum seekers, and the way it has been? Because we know in Germany it's a very thorny issue for the government to come out and say, in the way they have done, Angela Merkel has done, with allowing 1 million migrants into the country. She preaches tolerance, she preaches democracy and all of that. However, at the same time, we see groups like Alternative for Deutschland gaining ground in local elections. So it would seem that the popular feeling in the country wants more done. What concerns do you have then when the argument focuses in the way it has done on immigration, or do you just think we just need to keep preaching tolerance and hope that message takes hold? Although with the way the political agenda seems to be going, it seems that argument isn't really taking hold with many Germans. They want more done.
Yeah, I think you make a very good point. I think, first of all, the problem is not so much, at least what I've heard from talking to people in recent days, the problem is not so much that Germany has taken in people. I think Germans have actually reacted very graciously to this huge crisis, and they were very welcoming to all these people coming to the country. The problem is if a large number of people enters without due process, and obviously that was the case because authorities were simply overwhelmed by the crisis. So there was no due process anymore. There was a lack of registration, and that is a security concern, and we're seeing the consequences of that now. I mean, the problem is that a lot of the attacks that were carried out in Germany this year were indeed linked to refugees. You know, we had the attack in Würzburg and Ansbach. Authorities prevented an attack from taking place in Düsseldorf. So, of course, people are concerned. So I think what the government needs to do is to take seriously these concerns and address these issues in a very honest manner, because if they don't, then there will be parties like the Alternative for Deutschland who will say the government's not taking seriously our concerns, we are the only ones dealing with these issues, and then they perhaps will deal with this problem in a way that is not as responsible as we would like it to have, and they will capitalize on these atrocities, and that is then a huge problem, and will probably poison the climate of tolerance in this country, and that would be a huge that would be a huge shame. So I think the ball really is in Angela Merkel's court now to find the right words at this very difficult time, take appropriate measures, and take out sort of the air from the wings of these anti-immigration parties.
Julie, thank you. Julie Lenarz, Executive Director of the Human Security Centre, and you also heard from Anna Grout. She's an MP with the left-wing Die Linke party in Germany.